All right, let's yep. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to Games Over Explained. Today we are going to be revisiting Power to the People. As I've expressed in my previous video, I really like this game and I want to play more of it. So today we're going to hit, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Montpelier. All right, so our campaign says you have been hired as manager for the local electric company in the Montpelier area. In order to prove yourself, you need to keep customer satisfaction over 50% during 50 days. He says, bienvenue. So let's see what we need to get going here. This map was especially interesting to me for the primary reason of it unlocks nuclear energy, which is something that you don't get in the normal game until much, much later. So this specific campaign lets me play with nuclear, which is something I haven't gotten to do yet, so I'm pretty excited about that, and I think it's going to be a good time. So it does look like nuclear is extremely expensive, but I think it's going to be really beneficial to us. Holy smokes, that NIMBY range. I guess that makes sense. At least here in America, most people aren't super comfortable living close to nuclear power plants. So we probably want to make sure this is like far out, and that's going to cost a lot in terms of developing our infrastructure to bring power in. So let's see, I guess over here looks good because it's kind of closer and on the same island. However, it's not centrally located, so let's rethink that. Maybe I'll pop it down here on this little strait. Yeah, let's do that. Let's move it just a hair over like there, because that's substantially cheaper. And now we have our nuclear power plant. So the next thing we need to go ahead and do is grab our substations. So let's go ahead and bring a substation over here close to the city. We'll put it on this little peninsula, and hopefully it won't be too close to everything else. And then we'll go ahead and run our our high voltage lines out and straight across. It should put us here, and then run it over to here. Oh, whoa, that's not correct. Hang on a second. Let's bring those back down. I did not get that right on, so let's actually take another pass at that. Boom, there we go. All right, let's grab our local lines, and then we're just gonna bring those across like there. Yeah, and we've got the money to go ahead and get all this set up so that we are set up for success in the future. And then I also figure we should go ahead and maybe start our diversification early, because we are going to likely grow this city pretty substantially. So I want to make sure there's enough inlets for the power, and we should be good to start. I guess we already have started. I always forget that the first day just kind of throws you in there. So the good news is that this thing is gonna pretty much power us for a substantial amount of time. All right, our efficiency is not very good, but that's okay. We'll work on that as we go along and hopefully get better. If any of you have any tips on how to improve efficiency generally in the game, I'd love to hear it, because I'm not 100% sure how that functions. So I would like to know more. So if you know, leave a comment if you could. Well, this is quite an interesting infographic here. It says the blueprints for your basic substation have been detected in an email sent between known terrorists. Intelligence services warn you that they might attempt an attack in the near future. So that'll be fun, because we only have one substation currently. Maybe we should add a second? That feels like overkill, but we're not gonna have a choice, because if it goes down, yeah, let's go ahead and take care of this now. We'll use it again in the future anyway, so it doesn't really feel like something we need to be majorly concerned with. It does, however, mean that I'm going to need to change how I designed this over here. So let's disconnect these two now that we've built this over here, and we'll bring this out like that, and that should be, if I can get this lined up, there we go. Should be able to bring this over. Oh, we don't have enough money. All right, well, let's fast forward then. Yeah, we're not making a ton of money just yet, but hopefully we can get that taken care of. And then I don't know if we'll have enough for the short run. Let's see. No, we need 4,800. So let's skip ahead one more day. All right, and that should get us taken care of. Now, we are in a bit of a predicament with our money, because we have a new city being built in 32 hours, and we don't actually have a ton of on-hand finance. So maybe we just need to, let's fast forward one more day, try and get to the end of this day and then see how we look. All right, well, we have 10 grand. We're not gonna have much choice on this. Let's make sure that everything's connected up. We look good over here, and let's, I guess, let it run and see where this new city pops. There went our substation. I've already issued the repair command. Hopefully it's fixed pretty quickly. Looks like it's going pretty quick. Oh man, that's kind of worst case scenario. That's way out there. That's gonna be pretty expensive to get a substation too. Oh boy. All right, well, let's go ahead and pop in our basic substation over here just to, yeah, we don't even have enough for that. Okay, well, I guess we'll go ahead and try to blow our money on the high voltage lines. I think that's probably a good place to start. Oh man, that's gonna be expensive. Man, I should have put the nuclear power plant over here. I remember my concern was that I wanted it to be centrally located, but I should have been more observant of the map, because if you look at it, it's really not that centrally located. I mean, it's kind of in the center of the map, but there's still a ton of space around. Either way, we're kind of in a sticky situation. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take a loan. That's something that I unlocked recently, and I think it's probably going to be worth taking care of now. So let's just start with 40,000. All right, and let's go ahead and build the infrastructure we need. Plop a basic substation over here. Man, they are not happy about the fact that they don't have power, which, you know, understandable. So let's grab our high efficiency or high voltage line here. Wow, that's still not enough. Well, we could do something a little weird. Let's see, can I hop off of this one for now? Just bring this out like that and then bring this across. Yeah, that'll work. It's not ideal, certainly, but we desperately need to get these guys power, so we'll just start with that. All right, so our second town is officially powered, so hopefully that will get us taken care of. Yeah, this situation over here is not ideal. The second that I have a little more funding, I'm going to try and invest on getting this dedicated line over here. That way it's not hopping off of the same line. But we can look at our load overlay. No, that's power demand. Our load overlay, and these are doing okay for now. So we'll probably just leave it there. Let's take a look at our research real quick. I do want to go ahead and do our staff training. That way we can reduce downtime, because currently we don't have any backup power. So how many days until we need to do maintenance? 3? Let's look at our backup power situation here. This is 15,000. We can't even afford the flywheel right now. All right, let's just let this run. This loan situation might be a little tricky. All right, so we're up to 10,000. We have one more day until the maintenance needs to happen on the nuclear plant. So let's see where we're at the end of this. We should pull in 4 or 5 grand, something like that. 8, okay, that's substantially better. So that gives us enough for at least one lithium ion battery factory. Hopefully this should be enough. We'll find out. Let me plop this here in between these two. It's pretty much all of our money that we have. We do have enough to plop in a local line here, so let's do that. And then we'll probably just have to weather the storm and see if we can get through this. Let's fast forward. Yeah, so we did lose power very briefly for some of the folks, so our customer satisfaction has gone down, but that's okay because we are hanging in there. So let's turn off this overlay and see what we can do in terms of saving money, because we do have another city being built in 10 days. So I feel like this one I over invested. The nuclear power might not have been the best idea, but that's okay. Okay, so I have found a situation. We have a really overloaded line over here. So for now, I do want to try and get up to improved cable alloys. I think that's going to be the best idea. So let's hop up all the way up here. That should give us a little more headroom, but not a lot. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Yeah, so I think really what we just need to do is add another local line in here, because currently this is feeding actually the majority of the city, and this is kind of just doing the southern side of the city. So let's actually grab our local line and we'll just bring this across like that. and give them a dedicated line. That should help share the load a little bit, kind of get power moving in different directions. And we'll go ahead and take our line there since they just built that road and take care of it. We're almost profitable here. We're making money. We just need to keep driving and try to dig our way out of this hole before we get to the new city being built. Yeah, so I still owe 19,000 on this loan. I'd like to go ahead and just repay it, be done with it. Now that we are turning a profit a little bit, having loans is extremely useful as long as you're not over stretching your finances. But I think that was extremely helpful. I just want to make sure that we're not actively having to repay on it all the time. See, that made our profit jump up quite a bit because we're no longer repaying those loans. So that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and keep trying to buzz through here. Let's see, we can increase. Yeah, we want to increase our storage efficiency because we only have one currently. So I'd like to try and bump that up a little bit. We are going to have to do maintenance on this guy again in 5 days. So it's probably not a bad idea to go ahead and invest in another lithium ion battery facility. So let's just plop that there in between the lines again. Okay, so we're facing a bit of a situation here where this is actually peaking at peak demand times. It's getting really high to the point where it's kind of uncomfortable. So I'm wondering if we should go ahead and add another substation. This guy's really just not pulling a lot of load, which is half the issue, while this is actually pulling the majority of the city. So I think what may not be a horrible idea is to take this high voltage line and bring it up and around and put a substation up here to feed to the western edge of the city. I'm not totally convinced it's a great idea, but I think it's probably worth it. We have to at least try to do something. So we're going to do this. This is our something. So let's run this up here. That gets us our high voltage, and then we'll bring in our low over here. And there we go. So that should be splitting the load with these guys now. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. I just wanted to show you guys that. Some other things I did also is I went ahead and built this line over here. Let me get rid of the overlay. This just provides extra diversity to the power here, just so we have some quote unquote, claimed area. We'll go ahead and clean that up too, just to get it all connected. That way we can add more diversity for our paths into the city, because it seems like this one's going to be challenging to make sure that we're not putting too much load. This guy here was under a ton of load before I made that change, so that was kind of the big driver for it. Yep, so we did have another blowout here. Yeah, this guy's really, really hot. All right, well, let's think here. We could always just run another local. I'm thinking we should reconfigure this design over here, so let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna grab our low voltage and just kind of stick this out like that, bring it over here. And then I want to bulldoze this section of the line like that. Yeah. And oh man, we got cut off by this hospital, which is not good, but that's all right. We can grab this here, and then I want to bring it kind of over this way. And then let's just bring it straight across here. Kind of interrupts the growth of the city a little bit, but we do need to kind of alleviate some of the stress that we're putting on this. We have a lot of load issues on this map, and I'm wondering what the deal is here. I think I just haven't designed this super well. That could be it. We'll let this roll and see how we look. All right, so our new city is founded, and we got super lucky on this one. It is just right here. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to probably hop them off of this basic substation for now. The alternative, they're in a weird place. So I could put another substation over here and then pull off of that. This is starting to get hot. I need to go ahead and make that investment as well. Okay, so that's our priority list. Let's figure out where we want to put the substation. We are going to need a dedicated one. I don't want to hop it off the other one. I think that's probably not the best idea. So we will just work around it. So let's go ahead and plop this over here. And then what we'll do is bring this across like that, which is going to increase the load on this for a little bit. But because our next stage is disconnecting this line here and giving this a dedicated, that will only let this go out and around. So let me actually get this taken care of instead of just talking about it. Get them all connected up. Okay. So the next stage here is going to be, we need to disconnect this guy, but to do that, ooh, we're struggling over here. What's going on? Oh, we're down for maintenance and we didn't have enough battery. Whoops. Well, sorry guys, you're just gonna have to deal with it for now. So what I do need to do is grab a high voltage and we're just gonna run it straight across like that. It's gonna be pretty expensive, but it does allow us to disconnect this, which will take care of some of the load that we have going on over here. I think ideally we would want to probably do a straight run for this as well at some point, but we're probably not going to get there right now. So we do need way more batteries, or we need to add redundant power, but I'm not really wanting to do redundant power just yet, so we're just going to add some more batteries for now. I think that's probably our best bet. Just drop in a couple of these, just make sure we have good storage on our power, and then we'll go ahead and let it run. All right, so there's a couple issues here. You can see over here, this is glowing red hot, and then we also have a line that needs repaired over here. That tells me that we probably need to go ahead and add another low voltage connection right here. That should, yep, offload a lot of this load, which looks good. So we should be able to work around that. I don't know what to do about this guy over here. Did something just break? It sure sounded like it in my ear. Let's what is drawing all this power? That's a good question. Yeah, so actually it looks like part of my issue right now is that this is only really supplying this section over here. So it's not quite as diverse as we wanted it to be, and we're kind of backed into a corner here. The only other real option we have is to grab this and bring it up and around like that. And I don't even know if that's going to be effective. Yeah, no, it's not providing enough redundancy or enough diversity. So let's actually scrap that plan. All right, so I have decided that instead of actually dealing with this, we're just going to use high capacity lines for now. It's pretty useful. It'll upgrade our capacity on these guys. And then from what I can tell, I switched on our power demand overlay, and it looks like really all of our highest demand for power, it's probably coming partially from this apartment building because it's being drawn off of that main trunk. So what I was thinking we could do is potentially bring one of these guys out and around to the back, or maybe we'll just do this. Let's see. No, that's not gonna work because that power run, that run's just way too long. That's part of the issue. Okay, I'm starting to figure it out. I'm starting to understand this game more. Let's just get rid of that. That was a bad plan. So really, if we wanted to fix this issue, we would just need to put another substation probably over here, and then we'd be able to run the power into the southwestern side of the city from that substation. But we're not going to do that just yet. I do want to observe and see kind of what we look like throughout the day. So let me switch over to our load and observe what happens here. We got struck by lightning, so that was fun. Yeah, that was very unfortunate. It kind of hit one of our main high voltage towers, so it kind of shut everything off there for a second. Luckily, we were able to get it fixed pretty quickly. So looking at this, I mean, we're getting close to the higher demand portion of the day, and it looks like we're doing okay. So I think for now, adding that higher capacity lines perk is going to be kind of the fix that we needed. All right, so we've got another event prompt, and this one is quite interesting. I haven't seen this one yet. It's for a research center, and it said, plans for the construction of a cutting-edge research facility have been announced. It will be built in the outskirts of Montpelier. This new building will demand lots of power, but also will bring us high profits. Important, this building needs to be fed directly with a high voltage line. So this won't need to be connected to any of our small infrastructure, which will be interesting. It doesn't need a substation, which is cool. We'll be able to work on that here in a minute once we know where it is. One thing I'm working on here is we really need to clean this up. This is looking a little rough. So let's go ahead and bring this across like that, and then we'll take our bulldozer and just nip these down, and that should be good. Problem is that these are connected now. Ooh, So what I might need to go ahead and do, we have somebody unhappy over here. No, they're fine. We don't have any unconnected blocks. Okay, so let's actually rethink our design a little bit, just a tad. We're gonna run a line over here, and then we're gonna basically just strip out this entire center line, and that'll keep these disconnected so we don't have to worry about it in the future. Go ahead and connect up there as well. And we look like we're doing okay everywhere else. We've got some chaos going on over here, so let's fix this up a little bit. Just make it look a little prettier. I don't like the lines not being on the roads. It feels like lines belong on the roads. I know that's not true, but we're gonna pretend it is. Something about water pipes under roads where they belong. So we have our research center. It's up here, and we're going to need to connect it using some high capacity lines. The issue is that it's like on the opposite end of the world from our actual main power generation. But these high voltage lines over here really aren't under all that much load, so I'm just gonna grab this, bring it up like this. That lined up? No. All right, now it is. And then we're gonna bring it across like that, and that should connect it. It's gonna draw a lot of power and increase the load here, but I think it'll probably be okay. Yeah, we'll be all right. All right, so we are gonna go down for maintenance in 42 hours. It's probably worth investing a little more on our power backups. Of course, we can't build much more over here because this city popped up where it did. So let's try and tuck it over here in this corner like that. And then we'll go ahead and drop another one too, just to make sure we have lots of energy backed up. Whoa, that really does use a lot of power, doesn't it? We do have this substation over here that needs to be addressed. So let's take a new substation and plop it on the other side over here. Then we're gonna take our high voltage and we're gonna run it out around the city, right about here. And then across like so, and then back up to here. Now we need to grab our local and bring it out and around like this. It's kind of the game plan. And then also one over here just to make sure that we're kind of not putting all our eggs in one basket. This should split the city up nicely. Yep, perfect. That was a good place to put that. We are running pretty hot over here, it looks like, but it looks like we have enough power. I mean, we're running 100% on the power plants for now, which is good. This guy over here is not doing well at all. And it's because this stadium is pulling from it. So maybe it's time we go ahead and plop in another substation over here as well. It's gonna be close to the city, but I think that's gonna be all right. Let's see. Let me get this pulled back up. Yeah, so what I'm actually gonna do is maybe, I don't trust the local substations, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and just kind of pop this over here, and that should already be connected to our main grid, and then we'll give this guy a dedicated, yeah, that immediately took on a ton of the city. I'm glad I didn't use the local substation. That probably would have immediately had an issue. So the other issue we're going to keep facing here is the fact that we didn't get access into this direction, and I don't think I can bulldoze cities. It's not going to let me. And I can't build a power. Nope. All right, so I pretty much just have to live with what happened here. For now, I suppose we could just bring it around the stadium like that, just to keep that load from getting red hot over there. Yeah, that'll have to do for now. So is this substation even working on... Oh no, that's the one that we had built for Tebosk. Yeah, we're doing all right. Let's let it be for now. I don't want to overthink it or overanalyze this. We do, however, need to run focal line there. The load overlay is really nice for seeing where your lines actually are. That's pretty helpful. Wow, the new city is forever away. But that's okay. These lines are doing okay over here, so I should be able to go ahead and run this way out. Wow, this is gonna be an expensive build over here. That's fine. Let's put our substation up here on this hill, preferably where we don't have to do much demo. Yeah, that should be good there. And then we'll just hook that up and go ahead and run our lines over here. actually pretty far away from the city, so hopefully it's not a major issue. We'll go ahead and build in our redundancy immediately so we don't have to worry about it in the future. And that shouldn't be an issue with load. If this guy grows substantially, which we're already on day 30, so I'm not terribly concerned with it. I think we'll probably be all right. But if it does grow substantially, this line could be an issue. Oh, we had a low voltage power line fail. It's not a load issue, at least. Whoa, what's going on? Yeah, we don't have enough power for everyone again. I really just need to bite the bullet and build another nuclear power plant. That's what I am understanding from all of this. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Our plant is in. So what I was thinking is, let's look at this guy here. Nah, we can leave that on. And then this will supply the city with their power needs. So we'll basically be taken care of on that front. I think it probably also isn't a terrible idea to go ahead and build another substation down here for our big city, just so that we have the option in the future to use power directly from this plant. I think it's probably just a good idea in general. So let me actually rethink this. I want to bring this out like to here. Yeah, there we go. And that should take some load. Not that much, but it is what it is. You know, we're just trying to make sure that we are prepped in the future, more so than, you know, taking care of stuff today. Okay, so as anticipated, this is an issue. I didn't think it would be an issue this fast, but it is. We're pulling way too much power off of it, so we're gonna have to do some weird stuff here, I think, because I've kind of boxed myself in. So let's first and foremost grab... Let's see, what's our core issue? That we're pumping all this power in from here, and I think it's because we're charging. I'm not really sure what the problem is. Let's see. Oh my goodness. This is a really bad issue. I need to think for a second. Let's see. We need to grab a line from here and bring it up like that. Probably build some redundancy here. Like this, right? And then bring it across like that. That should help a little bit. But now these are pulling way too much power. All right, so I gave this some thought, and I think what I really just need to do is make sure that this isn't the only path for this power, because what it looks like it's doing right now is coming down and then maybe being relayed to one of these guys. So I probably just need to make sure that I have a little more redundancy built in around here. So what I was going to do is grab this and bring it over here. Yep, and that immediately started flowing some power this way. So I think that is going to be a big part of what we're trying to accomplish here. So let's let that go for now. This is becoming concerning down here in this quadrant, but I'm not 100% sure on how I can fix it. So now that I've got this guy built up here and I do have this flow coming down here, I question how necessary this voltage line is here. So let's take a look at that real quick. Let's just disconnect this entirely. This entire high voltage line over here. All right, so that should, in theory, push all of our power this way. And then what I really need to do, I know I've gotten rid of my redundancy, but there is a reason I'm doing this. And the reason is that I need to add another substation over here somewhere. But my problem is that I've kind of backed myself into a corner. I could bring this line out and just give myself some more space on this shore, but let me see if I can actually get this substation to fit over here anywhere. Yeah, see, so I can plop it right there. So let's do that. Let's put it there, and then we'll grab a local transmission and just bring it across the river. And that should lighten the load a little bit on this guy. Not a bunch. We just have a bunch of substations, and unfortunately this one's pulling the bulk of it because they built a stadium, which, you know, I get it. I like sports too. But as the guy who's trying to figure out how to make sure all this runs correctly, not really ideal, but thank you. So we do have a lot of power pumping through this guy now. I'm thinking that what we should do is make sure that that's connected, and then I grab this and take it around this warehouse. we need to get some of the load off of this, but once again, we're having this issue over here where we weren't able to make that through connection. So let me actually clean this up a little bit too while I'm over here. Bring this down like that and across like that. And then what I'm thinking we should do is just bring a line straight down. I'm not really sure what that did. I think it just alleviated the load on this line, so that's probably okay. I don't think it added too many more buildings to it either. Look at these guys built their city in the shadow of a nuclear plant and are complaining about it. We're just gonna have to, wow, that is rough. I may have to actually do something about that, which means I'm gonna have to move an entire plant just because they built their city in a bad place. All right, well, let's run ad campaigns. Like any good company, we're gonna ignore this issue for a minute and just go ahead and tell them that we're great. Okay, so I have made a decision on what we're going to do. We have a new city being built in 6 days. What I really want to do is get this plant offline and away from Tavosk. They're really not happy about living so close. This medical clinic has 32% customer satisfaction, which is abysmal. So what we're going to do is take our nuclear power plant and we're going to build a new one way down here. That way it's far away from everyone. And the next thing we're going to do is, since we're in pause mode, we're going to demolish our old plant over here. And the next thing is we're gonna have to get rid of some of these battery factories, or lithium ion battery farms. So let's get rid of those. We're still in pause mode. Everything's angry because we've completely destroyed our power infrastructure. But what we're going to do is clear back some of this. I want to bring a high voltage line up and connect it to this trunk. And then we're going to reconnect all of this over here. So now our nuclear power plant is down there, and we're going to have to rebuild some of our energy storage facilities. I do think we'll go ahead and get our lithium ion factories back up. So because we have some limitations on our geography, I do want to use these molten salt factories as well. That should give us a little extra bang for our buck in terms of providing the energy storage. This guy is going to ramp up and immediately start investing in this, so I don't want to overdo it. But this should clear up some of this NIMBY stuff. So let's take a look. Yeah, so our NIMBY rating is looking better. These guys are not going to be super thrilled when they start expanding because they're going to get closer to this power plant, but I think we'll be all right. This guy, however, is just a hotspot of unhappiness. So I'm hoping that maybe that will settle some of the complaints. Okay, so that looks better. The idea here is just giving this a dedicated trunk. That way it will only pull power from this plant, but it should still be connected up to our grid. So we should be okay. And then I'll just free up, you know, this line to be basically dedicated to charging these and charging those alone. That's it. So in theory, it should work. We'll find out here in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and clean up some of the missing lines that we have here. So I do want to go ahead and invest in some more lithium ion plants. They're kind of close to the city here, but I think that's going to be okay and it'll be worth it, just based on the fact that it's better to be close to the city than it is to not have power at all. And so I'm hoping now we have enough redundancy here that we should be okay. So I am going to relocate this basic substation. The city's developing down this way, and I need to back this off a little bit. So we're going to decommission that old substation altogether and just kind of bring this back to about here. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and decommission this substation, which is supplying a lot of places with power. So that's gone. Now we're going to bring this line back. Let's make sure that we see what we're doing. And then we're just going to bring this straight across like that. And then we're going to connect up across to here. Actually, I hate when it does that. I want to actually bring this back like there. And then bring this straight out to here. Then we can curve in. And then this can actually come across to here. and that should alleviate some of the load. Yeah, see, now this has taken on the chunk of the city, and this is a little farther out, so it should transfer some of the load to here. Hopefully that'll be okay. Let's watch what our load looks like throughout the day, and that will give us an idea. Well, I guess that answers that. That's a little too hot, but that's all right, because we can run another local transmission off of this guy to over here. Bring it just straight across like that. And that should at least alleviate some of the load over here. And then we also need to connect across here, because that doesn't currently have anything connected to it, which may be part of our issue. I was kind of evaluating this, and it looks like this guy here really isn't powering all that much. So first thing I want to try is just running this out to here. Yeah, so it's really not pulling a lot of load. So I'm wondering if we moved it closer, or if we tried moving this a little further back. Let's try that. We're going to do the exact same thing we just did. Decommission this old substation and just scoot it back a hair. Yeah, so that pulled one more onto it. Yeah, it's better. It's not perfect. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but I think we'll be all right. I just wanted to make sure that we're kind of balancing our load as much as possible on these substations, because the city is crazy busy. All right, so I've decided that we are going to move this substation up a little bit, not too much. I just want to bump it forward a few spaces, and then we're just going to decommission that old one like we've been doing and see if that helps. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a nice even split. Oh, we're feeling good about that. I am anyway. I've been trying to figure out how I can balance this better. Finally, it feels like we've gotten some headway here. We do have a new city, and it's yet another one out in the middle of nowhere. So that's all right. We can go ahead and get them taken care of. So let's plop in our substation there. And since these lines are generally low load, I'm gonna just bring off a branch from that line there, and then we'll run it into the city. Kind of a straight shot. Start selling them power. That should take care of it. We do have, wow, that is getting really hot over there. Well, that's actually a pretty easy fix. We can do this, and then we can also, I'm thinking, bring around like that. Yeah, just like that along the high voltage, and that should provide a little more redundancy. This is getting crazy hot over here. Holy smokes. All right, let's yep. Let's try and diversify that a little more. Let's just connect it up to there. The nuclear power plant failsafe manufacturer has issued a recall because of defective components. Replacement parts for the failsafe mechanism with false positives have been sent and will be installed during the next maintenance cycle. Okay. Well, hopefully we don't have a nuclear incident here. I'm going to clean this up just a bit. What I want to do is just come through here and get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, so that looks a lot better. We've got a little more redundancy built in, which we're happy about. This is still getting hot, and this is still really under load. And it's mainly because we have a stadium right here. What just happened? Oh, we're down for maintenance. Ooh, that's pulling a lot of power there. Let's, yep, connect there, repair that. Oh, that's the one that's down for maintenance. Okay. That makes sense. So really we need to do more balancing and put some battery plants up there. So that'll be our next goal. Let's get through the maintenance situation here, and then we can look at that. In the meantime, we can connect these guys up. There you go. All right, so I did something weird here. I actually brought out another dedicated line here across this shallow water, and then I built a little bit of redundancy because once I connected this up, this became an issue. This was all too hot here in the center. So I just kind of built some more redundancy in. It looks a little weird, but not so bad once you turn off. It's pretty bad when you turn off the overlay, but it is a means to an end. So I think we're good there. I think this should be okay. All right, that went pretty well. This is back online, pulling a ton of power. This is pulling a ton of power. I think a lot of it's because we're trying to charge stuff. We have, you know, a lot of batteries that are dead now. but we did make it through without losing service, which I'm pretty pleased about. I'm seeing a disconnect. There it is. I think we did pretty good on that. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm wondering if we need to start thinking about adding another plant, because I think the nuclear generators do 200 megawatts, so we're like 237. So in all honesty, we should be okay with what we're generating currently. I think it's just because we're recharging everything. I think a tree just fell. What the heck? Where was there even a tree? All right, so Tabosk has grown to the point now that we're hitting almost 50 megawatts on this substation up here. So I think it's time to add a second substation for them since they've gotten so large. The big question, as always, is going to be where do we put it? I think ideally we'd put it on the right side over here, but I really want to keep them boxed in so they don't grow out this way because I need it for infrastructure. So I think ideally we could just put it up here in this corner, like there. Then we'll bring our high voltage and run it across like this so it goes through this substation. And I think at that point I should be able to go through and bulldoze this. And so that will flow across through there. And now I can take my low transmission and bring it in like that. And that should pull off, yeah, half the city. Good deal. All right, that was exactly what we were planning on doing. We're starting to get to the point where we actually plan on something happening and then it actually happens, which is pretty exciting. So we did have a bit of an incident. We lost this substation up here, so I'm just going to get this repaired as fast as possible. They're working on it, but I do think it highlights a need for another substation for this little area here. Can I put a sister substation here? I can. I'll just have to move. Yeah, let's do that. And then I want to disconnect you and do that like that. Let's try connecting up to here. Yeah, that should do it. And then I know that I've already built this, so we'll just have to go back and get rid of it. Take it back to like here. Like right about there maybe. Yeah. And then we'll just bring, just for redundancy's sake, just to make sure that we're taken care of on having plenty of paths. We'll get rid of this guy here. And we do have a fire hazard here because we're pulling so much power off of this guy here. Oh, I see, because it's charging these guys. So let's just dump that plan entirely. Bring you around like that, and then disconnect these all together. And that should provide dedicated charging over there. We have a redundancy. All right, we're looking good. And we only have 5 days left, so let's let it run. All right, we're at the end of day 48. I was watching and it looks like we ended up running on storage for a little bit, but I think that's gonna be okay in terms of getting to the end here. If you watch, I'll fast forward. There's peak day, it starts to burn up some of our energy reserves and then it pops back up. I don't know if we're gonna have enough to deal with this for the day, so let's see. How many days do we have left? 1. Let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens here. All right, and there you go. I was right. We were able to kind of scooch by on our storage, though I think if we had done that for another couple more days, it would have been probably a bad situation. So that was Power to the People. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please consider liking the video. It does help a lot. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you can see when I put out new videos. So that's going to do it for me today. This was Power to the People with Games Over Explained, and I'll see you next time.